Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, Greg Majeski, your personal weatherman, bringing you the weather without all that social media hype here on your Monday, September 16th, 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest weather headlines here for today, as we're going to be tracking some heavy Carolina rains thanks to our tropical hybrid system making landfall here forward to this afternoon. And we're also looking at some high plains action with the potential for some isolated severe weather there as well. We're talking about areas toward Minnesota and South Dakota. We'll break that down here for you for a second. And then we're going to talk about our next tropical threat. Yeah, we're still in September, folks. We're not done with hurricane season just yet. And I'll talk about where I think we'll need to keep a watchful eye here as we head deeper and toward the end of the month of September. Now, before we get into all this, first I want to thank all the new subscribers to the channel. We're growing and moving in the right direction. And if you haven't yet subscribed, it'd be a pleasure and honor if you please join us. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. And if you enjoyed the report, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. I really do appreciate you guys' support. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the current satellite imagery here as we've got our tropical system here. It's a hybrid. This is potential cyclone development number 8 or Helene, depending on how you look at it, 50-mile-per-hour winds. So it's got the strength of a tropical storm. Very heavy rains. The center of circulation is actually down near the south, so it's not like your typical tropical system. That's why I'm calling it a hybrid. Got some active weather here across the high plains with a system coming out here. Got another one out here in the west. I'll have some active weather here for tomorrow. And the remnant rains of Francine still lingering across portions of the south here for today. Here is your current surface map. Not looking too bad up toward New England. Wet out here in the mid-Atlantic area, obviously, with that tropical system there. Remnant rains there across areas of Arkansas and Mississippi. Some rainy weather here in the middle of the plains and some active weather. A little bit of rain out here toward Nevada and Oregon and areas here toward New Mexico as well. So it's a little bit of everything here across the country here for your Monday here in the almost toward the middle, down in the middle of the month of September. Let's go ahead and talk about our watches and warnings. Obviously, we've got our flood watches here with that tropical system coming online. We do have our tropical storm warnings here from the Outer Banks of North Carolina down towards South Carolina here. Quiet here for most of the country. Wind advisories out here in Nevada, California, and Arizona. Could see some potential severe thunderstorm watches, maybe tornado watches up this way across portions of North Dakota and Minnesota a little bit later for this afternoon as well. Now, obviously, we got this tropical system here moving on shore. Wilmington's getting battered. They'll probably get upwards, potentially up to 8 inches of rain here, especially with a nice plume of moisture. Again, the center of circulation is down here well to the south, so we're just getting inundated here across portions of North Carolina, and this will start to back into South Carolina here as this system begins to move further inland. In fact, we can take a live look here at the Sunset Beach coast here. Heavy rains here. This is our weather city of the day. And I'm also picked somewhere it's kind of dreary, right? Looking at some heavy rain, heavy surf, high temperature day around 78 degrees with a good chance of rain continuing for most of the day. And hey, if you'd like to consider your city for the weather city of the day and you know of a good webcam in your area, maybe on YouTube or somewhere else, just post that link down below and we'll consider it for a future broadcast. All right, it's now time to go ahead and take a look at that Severe Storms Prediction Center's day one outlook, as we're going to take a look at the next 3 days as we're starting your work week here. Obviously, we're looking at a couple of areas we're watching here pretty closely. Obviously, when you talk about a landfalling system, you got to worry about isolated water spouts, things along the Carolina coast there. And then you got that little pocket up here as well with a slight risk. And we don't forget here across the areas of the Intermountain, Utah, down toward the Four Corners, a marginal risk for some isolated severe weather, maybe some mainly gusty winds for those locations here for today. Let's go ahead and break this down by the category. We're going to take a look at the different categories here. We'll first talk about the tornado risk here expected here for your day one. Again, running about 5% right along the immediate Carolina coast, less than 2% there across Minnesota and North Dakota. So not a big deal there. Now, as far as hail, that's a little bit different story, especially up there toward Minnesota and South Dakota. You got that running about 15% there. You got a little pocket down here toward the Four Corners as well here for later this afternoon. Now, as we take a look at the day two outlook, we'll see that next system kind of come on out, and you're looking at a couple of pockets there. We'll have to watch for potential severe weather there across areas of Montana, and then obviously coming out here to Nebraska, parts of Colorado, as you got that system kind of moving in through here, bringing that marginal risk there from areas of the Dakotas all the way down toward New Mexico with that system. Then you got a general thunderstorm threat there across the mid-Atlantic you ain't got to worry about there, and then obviously there along the Florida Gulf Coast. And as far as our day three outlook is concerned, well, again, not a big deal. Looks like just a general thunderstorm threat there from the high plains back toward Texas and the mid-Atlantic down toward the southeast. So Looks like by the time we head toward Wednesday, things settle down just a little bit. All right, now obviously we're going to talk about the excessive rainfall amounts, and boy, do we got lots of it, especially there across the Carolinas. We're going to show you the models here and some of the rainfall estimates there in just a second, but that is our day one outlook there. Obviously, we're looking at the potential for some heavy rains here along the Carolina coast and even up here across portions of Minnesota with some of that frontal system moving in there, and then a marginal risk there for those isolated thunderstorms through Nevada, heading toward the Four Corners region with the Intermountain system that's currently moving through there right now. As far as the day two outlook is concerned, not too bad. Again, just some spotty marginal coverage here and there from the Mid-Atlantic, the Gulf Coast, Intermountain region from Montana, Idaho, and back towards, say, Colorado, northern New Mexico there. Day three, got a slight risk pocket there across areas of Montana to watch there. You see it up here with it up there, and you got a little pocket there across New England as well, going into day three, going into your Wednesday. For that. So that's just a couple areas of concern there. Now we're going out into the tropics. We got to talk about what's going on. We only got two systems out there to really be concerned about. So not looking too bad currently right now, but I am concerned about this area in here, just kind of marking that off as a potential development here going beyond next week. Okay, right now, next 7 days, it looks pretty quiet. 8, or Helene, whatever you want to call it, is moving inland. Gordon looks like that's going to be staying out in the Atlantic. So right now we're officially on Gordon. I don't know if we get Helene before that system moves off the coast there or not. We'll wait and see what the National Hurricane Center wants to say on that. But Gordon is the current active name that we're currently on right now. Looking out into the Atlantic, you obviously see that system just kind of spinning about. Limited thunderstorms with this thing out here right there. So again, just some pockets, but it is forecast to strengthen. You got a pretty active storm track here towards north, and it's going to be eventually drawn further north. And of course, here's our system here off the Carolina coast that's currently going to be moving in on shore here for this afternoon. Now, as we take a look at the specifics here on Gordon, here again, it's going to be moving up toward the north. And as it does so, looks like the model indications are this thing may actually become a big storm system for a little while, but it's going to be well out in the Atlantic, not going to have an impact on our weather there. In fact, we're going to look at the ensemble model here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. And you can kind of see what's going on here with the track. So what I'm going to do is let me go ahead and kind of freeze this a little bit here, step by step, and we'll kind of talk about this a little bit. So obviously you're seeing the active weather there as we're talking about the stuff out here in the middle of the Atlantic. So it looks like we may get a pretty healthy storm out here. Notice a lot of the reds showing up there. That's an indication you probably got a pretty good hurricane spinning up out there. We got a couple of disturbances here off the East Coast to watch. Obviously, this is the one going inland. What I'm concerned about going into the week of the 23rd is what happens down here in the Caribbean. When you go toward the end of September, going in October, that is typically your hot zone to watch. You get these systems that can develop down there and they can shoot up toward the north. And so that'll be something I'm going to watch very, very cautiously. Again, watch that track here as I go take this out to the end of the model run here. You notice that stuff coming into the Gulf there, and that's the last image right there. So we're going to have to watch that very closely to see if we get anything tropical to perhaps sneak into the Gulf of Mexico or go up the eastern seaboard. A little early to call on this, but you folks along the Gulf Coast, again, you know the drill. We had Hurricane Opal, for example, the first week of October back in the mid-90s. So we're not through with hurricane season just yet, so please keep your guard up for that for right now. Now, another thing I do want to point out of what's going on out in the tropics as we shift over to our model data now. I want to go ahead and bring this up. Remember, I was telling you earlier, I said that when we get further into the hurricane season, the models were indicating here that as we head toward the middle of September, that the pressures in the Atlantic were going to start to drop, which will allow a little more conducive for the air to rise and get development out there. So here I got the main surface anomaly, the pressure anomaly map here up, so you can kind of see what's going on here. What I want you to notice here is the amount of, I'm just going to take this out to the end because it doesn't really show anything real significant out here. But notice all the blue that is coming out covering most of the Atlantic, okay? So that means the pressure is falling in the Atlantic. When that happens, that opens up the possibility, again, of any kind of tropical wave active thunderstorms to be able to rise vertically and potentially develop. So right now, the European model is hinting at the possibility of things becoming environmentally a little more conducive for tropical systems to develop. Obviously, the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean need to be watched closely as we go late into the end of September. So just keep that in mind as it looks like things will be a little more conducive than the higher pressure we've had over the Atlantic for the last 6 weeks or so across that region. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the continent of the United States. We're going to talk about the jet stream pattern here as we look at the river air that's kind of driving the weather systems here across the country. As we go, watch this. We got a couple of systems we're watching. You see one there kind of driving into your Tuesday. Obviously, we're talking about this little rotation system here. That's what's going to bring that active severe weather for your Tuesday, as we saw there on the day 2 outlook there. And we got a couple of smaller systems we're going to kind of watch there as it traverses. So it's kind of an active flow here on the west. Here's another system. There you see the next one there as we come down into your Thursday, coming into California there. That's what's going to bring the below normal temperatures for the west, however briefly. I don't think it's going to last very long, because the jet stream is going to start to sneak back up toward the north here as we progress this 10-day model run. So we get this little disturbance that's whirling out of the Rockies, out of the Four Corners as we head towards Saturday. So we'll have to watch for some active weather potentially here in this neighborhood right in here as that little piece of energy starts to kick on out there as we head to this upcoming weekend. And then as we go through the rest of this model run, that kind of kicks on out, and then it looks like the main jet stream kind of stays up to the north. I will say this is very unusual to see a jet stream that strong coming in off the west coast toward the end of September. It's a little hard to see that, but again, no major dips in the jet stream, which means most of the country is going to see things kind of on the warm side, except toward the tail end of this run. It looks like that little piece of energy there toward the end of that run with that jet stream may bring in some much cooler air across the Pacific Northwest. We'll have to watch that closely as we go toward the 24th into the 25th of September. All right, let's go and take a look at the precipitation. We're going to take a look at this. We're going to break this down. Watch that timestamp in the upper right-hand corner, get an idea of what day you're looking at. The effects of this tropical system are going to linger here across the eastern seaboard. So we'll focus in on that right now here for first thing you're going to notice here as we go through time. It goes inland across the mid-Atlantic, and then it kind of drifts up toward the north and kind of goes up into the northeast. So that's going up till Thursday or Friday. So that's going to linger for a little bit there. Notice the system out toward the west coming out of the Intermountain region. So we're going to have to watch some storms there going even into your Wednesday here across portions of the Dakotas and back toward Montana. Again, we had that higher precipitation threat in Montana. Montana's been very wet. They've seen some pretty active weather there. Here's another little disturbance here coming in on the California coast as well as we go into your Wednesday. So let's go ahead and again continue this forward through the map as that goes on through. Pretty quiet there across the east, and you got some active weather there going Thursday into Friday. You notice you got some thunderstorms there across portions of Minnesota. Watch there. Got another little disturbance back here coming in through Nevada and through California. That's that secondary system that was behind this one. All right, so we'll go ahead and watch this kick on out. And then that next system kind of comes out into the plains. So that goes into Saturday, late in the day on your Saturday. So it's 8 o'clock. We've got some active weather, excuse me, right there through Nebraska, going into Kansas on your Saturday. All right. So that's a little active weather there for the weekend. And that pulls up into the high plains as we go into your Sunday and Monday. So it kicks on out, stays with that active track there across the northern plains. And then we got something, looks like something trying to come in off the Atlantic. That's that part of that disturbance, I think, might be catching up here. Something coming up along the eastern seaboard, coming in out of the Caribbean and then coming up toward the Carolina coast. Now, whether that develops into something, we'll have to wait and see on that. Again, that's going into Tuesday of next week, and that kind of rides into New England. So we'll have to watch that area here closely, see if we get something tropical that's going to influence the northeast there as we go into the 24th and 25th. Later in this month. So that is your and obviously we got some wet weather out here in the west. That'll bring in some cooler temperatures there across the Pacific Northwest as well as we head toward the middle of next week. So we got that to look forward to. All right, let's talk about the precipitation. We got a couple of hot zones here we're going to talk about here with the precipitation. I'm going to take this all the way out to the end of this run. And obviously your eyes get drawn to two major areas that are concerned. Obviously we got our tropical influence here with our rains here across the Carolinas to watch here. And then we've got some heavy rains here across portions of Montana. And they've been hit multiple times here in the last week or so. So definitely some localized flooding. You've got a little bit of rain here across portions of Oregon and Nevada as well. California getting the rain early. Well, it's kind of interesting to see that as we go into the upcoming fall. But definitely not seeing drought conditions out there as we look for the next 10 days. So our two hot zones, again, Montana and the area of the Carolinas. It's obviously coming here with that line-falling tropical system right now. All right, let's finally take a look at the temperature anomaly map. This is current as of right now. Obviously, we're a little below normal here out of the west coast here, above normal up here in the high plains. Obviously, we got clouds, rains, and lingering down here in the southeast, mid-Atlantic, obviously running with below normal temperatures there, thanks to the cloud cover and rain there. But as we go ahead and look at your temperature anomaly here, as we go through the time here, again, way below normal here for Monday morning. Look at that. Where you're seeing like 20 plus degrees below normal there for tomorrow morning here across California and Nevada. But don't worry, it's going to be short-lived. It's not going to stay long. We're going to see things quickly warm up out there in the west. So again, you see the reds, you know that's above normal. You see that blues and greens, it's below normal. So going into Tuesday, we stay below normal for a lot of the west. Going into Wednesday, still above that. Still got some clouds lingering in the southeast. The middle of the country, definitely seeing pretty warm weather here across from Minnesota down toward Texas. Be a bit on the steamy side as we're kind of wrapping up the last few days of the season of summer. Obviously, fall officially begins, by the way, on the 22nd. But very, very warm temperatures here across the areas of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Still staying below normal out here in the west, a little bit here in the southeast. But again, as we head toward Thursday of this week. But this is going to start to change a little bit, folks, as we go in toward this upcoming weekend. As we say goodbye to all that below normal temperatures out in the west, and things really start to warm up. So most of it goes away by the time we hit to Monday of next week. We see warmer temperatures out in the west. Very warm here in the middle of the country. Very, very warm here through the plain states with above normal temperatures there. A little blue here with some rain, obviously, across New England and areas of Florida looking a little wet, obviously, with the rain chances there, keeping their temperatures down just a little bit. But most of the country going toward the 24th is very red. A lot of above normal temperatures for a bulk of the country as head toward next week. And then toward the end of the model run, then we see a little something trying to charge in here toward the west coast. Here it comes. There it is. As we go toward the 25th, we got a frontal system coming in with some cold air coming in out of Canada here across the northwest. Very warm here across the big poles of the country. Just some rain-induced stuff here with the temperatures a little below normal there across the mid-Atlantic there. But looks like we're going to see a big warm-up going into next week before we get another shot of cool down out the west coast there. Across the Pacific Northwest. So let's go ahead and break all this down. We want to break this down, looking at the climate outlook here as we wrap up this update here for today. Again, looking at your 6 to 10 day outlook here as we're looking at above normal temperatures here in the plains. Obviously holding on to the below normal here just briefly for the 21st, rest of this week, and kind of going toward the 21st to the 25th there. And as we go through the 23rd to the 29th, again, coast to coast, we're looking at above normal temperatures. However, this might change a little bit because the new overall model was hinting at something coming in up here. So this may change later today with today's update here across the Pacific Northwest. But most of the country definitely seeing above normal temperatures. Precipitation, here we go. Above normal here in the middle of the country, obviously along the East Coast for obvious reasons. Still dry across New England, a little dry out here in the Intermountain region and across portions of the Southwest. And it looks like we'll continue with above normal precipitation across the southeast. Big dry weather out here in the west and as well as New England. And a little pocket of above there across the high plains from Minnesota down toward Nebraska. So starting to make that transition, folks. You can kind of get a feel that we're kind of getting things moving toward the fall season. That's my decor. I got the little pumpkins out here for you. And it looks like even though we don't have any major storm systems, a lot of small ones to track here. And it looks like we're going to see the west gets a little bit of break for a few more days, and then we're going to warm things back up again. And then again, watching the tropics, I'm really concerned about the development out in the Caribbean to see if that turns into something to be a little more concerned about. There's still a lot of very warm water temperatures in that area of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico to deal with. So we'll see if it's going to be Helene or if it's going to be Isaac. This kind of depends on how things work out with the National Hurricane Center. Hey, that's your update for now. If you guys appreciate the support and you'd like to make this as part of your daily feed, all you got to do, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think of the report. And if there's something you'd like to see added, please go ahead and put it down below. All right, that's your update for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.